that's where we're headed. This is Putin. It says everyone cursed
Hem
Al
waffle.
Qaeda. When Al Qaeda began to fight against us in the Caucasus, everyone forgot about it. If something can be used in the fight against Russia, it is used to the fullest. Al Qaeda was also used. Today, neo Nazis are used in Ukraine. Putin. So I don't know. I hope this is in English.
Я вот еще буквально два слова. Действительно, заставить страны.
It is not. So let me read this. It says just a couple more words. Indeed, it is impossible to force countries to stupidly follow the requirements of some unfriendly states that have been fighting Russia on a systematic basis for decades.
Я вот еще буквально два слова. Действительно, заставить страны тупо следовать требованиям некоторых недружественных нам государств, которые борются с Россией на системной основе десятилетиями.
It says, after all, let's remember the means they use.
И средства, которые они используют.
Let's remember the bloody events in our Caucasus in the late 90s and early 2000s. What happened?
События у нас на Кавказе в конце 90-х, в начале 2000-х. Что происходило?
Everyone cursed Al Qaeda, but when Al Qaeda began to fight against us in the Caucasus, everyone forgot about it.
Но когда Аль-Каида начала воевать против нас на Кавказе, забыли все.
If something can be used in the fight against Russia, it is used to the fullest. Al Qaeda was also used.
Если можно использовать что-то против в борьбе с Россией, используется на полную катушку. В том числе и та же самая Аль-Каида использовала. Сегодня используют.
Today, neo-Nazis are used in Ukraine. They forget that they are neo-Nazis. No one remembers or says anything.
Неонацистов на Украине. Забыли, что они неонацисты. Никто не вспоминает, ни слова ничего не говорит.
They put a well-known person at the head there who covers up all the neo-Nazi camarilla nobody hears. Talking about Zelensky there.
Прикрывает всю эту камарилью неонацистскую. И вперед. Никто не слышит. Вот мы с вами сейчас посмотрим.
We just watched this video, which I asked to show,
ролик, который я попросил показать,
where the Bandera people march under the Nazi flag and kill people. Do you think anyone will show it there? No.
Ходят под нацистским флагом и людей убивают. Вы думаете, что кто-нибудь воспроизведет там? Нет.
There will be an information blockade because they use this mechanism in the fight against us.
Это будет информационная блокада, потому что используют этот механизм в борьбе с нами. Также
also used in the fight against us is energy, food, financial instruments, and so on.
Используются в борьбе с нами и энергетические инструменты, и продовольственные, и финансовые, и так далее. Но
But I repeat once again, the world is changing very quickly, and the effectiveness of these tools is nullified and harms.
Повторю еще раз. Мир меняется очень быстро. И эффективность этих инструментов, она обнуляется и наносит ущерб прежде всего тем,
First of all, those who are trying to introduce these tools to fight against Russia,
кто пытается внедрить эти инструменты борьбы с Россией.
So yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to understand Putin because he always, whenever he's saying stuff, it's so different than the media that we are so used to here in the States, because they feed us everything and then they feed us like a narrative, like, or whatever. They tell us what to think or whatever. But this guy comes at things in a way like you understand, like he's treating you like an adult. You know what I mean? He's not explaining everything. He thinks he feels like you know stuff, you know, so then he doesn't need to, you know, elaborate and clarify things. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why sometimes I think that, you know, our brain is trained to think in a certain way whenever we hear like politicians speak or whatever authority figures speak. They speak to us like on a freaking second grade, fifth grade level, You know what I mean? And explain everything. And this guy doesn't do that. So then that causes people to kind of like not hear what he's saying, I think. But if you listen, you know, I mean, you can get it. So it's like,
You have to be somewhat in the know and really understanding where he's coming from, understanding at least that side of everything, because of course we're taught a certain narrative about different countries and how their their you know their position with us, uh you know hostility towards us and blah blah blah, where
all of that.
you know yeah, so yeah, but he definitely speaks where you almost have to be somewhat knowledgeable of these things in order to keep speed at where he's at, with
Right.
the way he's speaking.
So he was talking about Al Qaeda and how the United States used them to fight against Russia, you know, and then, you know, after they were done fighting against Russia, then they, you know, the US turned around and started fighting against them. You know, they became an enemy.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people know now, you know, Osama bin Laden was like an agent. Like he was you know, he was a
He was
hero for the United States at some point, you know. And
he
then
was
he
a spy.
became
Yeah.
and then he became enemy number one, you know. And he's saying Putin is saying like everyone forgets about this, you know. You
No,
know, it
not everyone.
yeah, not everyone, but the way the media spins things, it
Yeah.
leaves that out. So, you know, it doesn't, you know, uh, all through the 90s, it was like Osama bin Laden was like, you know, uh, the devil or whatever, you know, the enemy number one, you know. So, but that's what he means by you forget that, you know, they were using him right before that time, you know. So you know, that's part of what he was talking about there. So, but his point was related to the Nazis in Ukraine, and you know, and how the media flips things and they don't show, you know, these guys walking around with the Nazi flags and having the tattoos and so forth and so on. And the media just glosses over that stuff because they are using them. They need them right now. Kind of, and he was comparing it to Al Qaeda because they don't necessarily care about the Nazis or necessarily agree with their agenda. It's just that they are on the other side of Putin right now. So, you know, and they're gonna back these guys to try to hurt Russia. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that a lot of people here in the States understand what's happening. That, you know, we're backing literal Nazis just so that we can try to hurt Russia. So it's like, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. How does it go? You know, so that's how it works. And so it's like the enemy of my own enemy is my friend because he's the enemy of my enemy, if that makes any freaking sense. And that it's really just crazy. It's really just crazy. If you if they explained it properly to the American people, then the American people would be like, what the hell is really going on, you know.
Well, there's a lot
That's
of
what he's
stuff that
trying to
just
say
wouldn't
in this.
happen. But that's why they but yeah, but see, but that's why they have to lie to us, is so that they can continue to get, support, because they're really not supposed to do any of this stuff without, of course they gotta go through, proper channels politically, but the people, they are always looking for the people, and especially black people, what what do they believe? What do, because subconsciously and like to a certain extent, like they still, like, because we really are the indigenous people of this country, like they still got to get a lot of say from us, so that they give us the narrative for us to believe or to think that, okay, we're doing the right thing or doing something good with the actions that we're taking. But in most cases it's a lie, and these people that they want to go to war with never did anything wrong, but we somehow take support with that, and that's where they're able to go on and give whatever amounts of money, like what they're doing now, even if it's not just us, like our country, like the fact that we can give power to the uh, the Ukrainian government for their issues that they're having with Russia. You know, like that support is mostly coming from us, but all Americans totally. So we really got to be careful, man. And I don't know. I
Pay
don't
more
really know
attention.
really we have to pay more attention, but this, like I know most people don't really, have the time to really, like, they don't go back and look. Because I mean, even if they just go back to the 90s, like, everything doesn't have to go back to Civil War, and like, I mean, yeah, some certain parts of the history that is important, but I mean, even if you just know what happened, just like he's mentioned in the early 2000s, like, a lot of people don't remember all of that, so, and they were living.